I've won me, myself, and I in the weather lab. I am all alone. Peyton is off tomorrow and Friday. Hope he has a great vacation. He's going to get to see his family. Well, Brandon, you're saying that's the serious music, but actually the serious music we save for the major severe weather. Yeah, that's always the music. But we're cooking up something just so you guys can enjoy it. Maybe a little fresh update to the Facebook Live. But I'm going to play something. I don't know if you're going to be able to hear it. I hope you can. Let me know. But listen closely.
Cool. It's bloody cool. I can smell us, What it's near.
I don't know if you can hear that. Let me know if you guys can hear that at all. I'll try playing it one more time.
Cool. It's bloody cool. I can smell us, What it's near.
Let me know if that's quiet or if you can actually hear the sound. You can hear it. Does anybody know what that's from? What might that be from?
Cool. It's bloody cool. I can smell us, What it's near.
Yeah. Nope. Not from Twister. Nope. Not Lord of the Rings. It's a good trivia question. We're starting off here hot, or should I say cold? Okay, so what it's saying is, gosh, it's bloody cold. I can smell ice, when it's near. I'll play it again. Listen. It says, gosh, it's bloody cold. I can smell ice, when it's near.
Cool. It's bloody cool. I can smell us, What it's near.
Nope. This is good. Yes, finally. Jill got it. It's the Titanic. When they're in the crow's nest and they see the ice off in the distance. Thank you, Jill. Everybody can stop commenting. It is from Titanic. The reason I bring that up is because this is a favorable weather pattern for icing, and I hope it's not us. I don't know where it's going to be, but hopefully it falls apart. But we're going to take you through all this stuff. Muppets in space. No, it's not that. Not Space Jam. Not any of that stuff. Let's dive into it. Show you the surface map. We've got a mess. The surface map is an absolute mess. You got a warm front to the south. You got a stationary front. You got a dense fog advisory in northeast Oklahoma. It's not really foggy right now. There's the dry line that's off to the west. And here's the deal, man. That front has been a thorn in my side. I talked about it on the weather. It dropped south. Now it's returning back to the north. Now it's dropping back to the south. No, you don't need to worry about icebergs on Beaver Lake. What you do need to worry about, though, is the fact that I can smell ice with this system. The pattern is very favorable for the potential for icing. And we're going to break all that down for you, and we're going to show you what we got. Now, I'm not going to go as long as I did on the Facebook Live last night because, number one, I got to get some sleep because we were up and at 'em early going to X&A to look at the tower topping. But let's take a look here at the big picture. So, first of all, there's pretty quiet weather across the western United States. Not super, let's just say, uncommon with a big system that's coming through. So you look off to the west, and you can see that we've got some energy. In fact, let me go back here. Let me move this. And these are called altocumulus clouds. You see those speckled clouds? Boy, that represents some really cold air aloft. And you guessed it, cold air is coming our way. So let me show you this. Going back to the water vapor, we can look up to the north and you can see this cold air starting to descend southward. The cold air is coming, folks, and it's only a couple of days away. Tomorrow's Thursday. Friday, it'll be a little bit cooler behind the front that comes through. Saturday, it warms up. Oh, get out and enjoy Saturday. We're going to have a high temperature on Saturday, similar to what we did on Monday. Monday's high was in the 70s. Saturday's high will be in the 70s. Could even bring some thunderstorms, but very, very active weather that's ahead. Now, you'll notice this jet stream is basically zonal. So it's going west to east. Now, Brendan, I think some storms could pop up in the early morning hours. There's so much energy and so many spins. Let's take a look here at the jet stream. This is a almost due zonal jet stream flow, west to east. That west to east zonal flow represents a lot of moisture coming from the Pacific. You've got all these little systems coming through. You got all this little lift. The models are no way going to handle this perfectly. And then you can see we continue to have that westerly, southwesterly flow. Now, have you ever heard me say, oh no, southwesterly flow, or oh no, it's southwest flow? You know this, you know the saying, you got to know it's northwest flow, but oh no, it's southwest flow. The reason we say that is because there's going to be multiple pieces of energy. Now, we may not be done in the early week next week. I think we got multiple rounds of winter weather potential. This is going to be a very busy forecast next week. We've got our work cut out for us in terms of forecasting. I'm going to literally be worn out to the max because this is just going to be a lot. So I wouldn't be surprised if I get sick, lose my voice, all the goods, just because of this very, very active weather pattern. Now, I did this on the news tonight. That light blue line that you see is temperatures that are just above freezing. So that's the 32-degree freezing line. Anything south of that is above 32. Anything north of that is below 32. Now, remember, these are the temperatures at 850 millibars. That's approximately 5,000 feet up into the atmosphere. You're going to notice this cold air starts surging south, and we aren't below freezing at 5,000 feet, but we don't live at 5,000 feet. No. We live on the surface, obviously. And what that does is this causes what's called a warm nose. And you got precipitation that's developing, but I'm just kind of showing you the setup, the stage on this warm air. It's called a warm nose. It's very, very warm, moist air that's above freezing. Now, notice by Wednesday morning, that cold air starts plowing south. If there's precipitation at this point, it would be mostly a wet snow and some sleet. But problem is that we're going to be in the boundary of basically the battlegrounds of these two air masses. Then it lifts back to the north. Now, Arctic air, and I heard people on social media. I've seen some of the comments. I don't see them all, so you can comment away. You can, you can blast me. You can troll me. I don't care. I don't really see them, to be honest with you. But the deal is that I know people are like, well, that's not what the YouTubers are saying. Well, here's the deal. Maybe they don't know that Arctic air is really a tough struggle with models. Models do not handle Arctic air very well, including the European. Once it gets closer, the NAM is probably the best with shallow Arctic air. Shallow Arctic air is a bear to try to predict its strength and how far south it goes. So let's go into a couple of models. You're going to see the European and you're going to see the GFS. In my opinion, the 12Z European was way too warm. And we know this front's coming in on Saturday evening and into Sunday. And here's Sunday afternoon. It warms it up into the upper 40s. Well, I remember back in 2009, the models also warmed it up. But we know that absolutely did not happen, as it was really cold a couple of days before the icing of January 26th to the 28th, 2009. Is this Arctic air going to be of the same variety? That remains to be seen. But here's the precipitation that starts popping. There's no doubt energy's coming in, and we're no doubt going to see precipitation. The question is, what type will it be? Which will basically be all three different types of winter precipitation. And then at the same time, you've got a lot of precipitation that develops. Now, here is 12 a.m. Tuesday, and look at the temperatures. Did you see that? That system came through, a lot of precipitation, but this European model only has 34 degrees. So let's move along here. There's a system moving out. Notice Wednesday, another system's coming in. Here's Thursday into Friday morning. Now the temperatures are getting close to freezing. More energy swings in. Look at that. Saturday, another piece of energy comes in. So there's another deal that we have. But I'm going to go back to this. We're going to go to 8 p.m. on Monday. 8 p.m. on Monday. Here is the European model, which I personally think is way too warm. Hey, come on now. We go back to. Oh, what do you stop? Here. Okay. Whoa, what are you doing? Models, the computer is freaking out. And then we're going to go to 8 p.m. There we go. I thought I set this up, but I guess not. Guess I set up in the show, but I didn't set it up on this. So let me delete this pause here. Okay, back to this. There we go, 8 p.m. Monday night. Monday night is when I think the precipitation starts to happen. Really, honestly, it could start as early as Sunday night. No lie. Especially in higher elevations, such as Deer, if you're watching. In Newton County, Jasper, Harrison. You guys could already be seeing precipitation. But there's 8 p.m. Monday on the European model. You ready for this? Don't blink, you'll miss it. Here's 8 p.m. on the GFS model. It's got 34, 35, and it's got a wintry mix. So it's a couple of degrees colder. It's all about how cold this air is. Then you're going to see here now, Tuesday morning, we're down to 32. So the cold push of air comes in. Maybe the River Valley just sees a cold rain. Northwest Arkansas sees icing, and Southwest Missouri sees snow potential. Then watch this. More energy swings in. There's another big system by the middle of next week. So there's all these waves of precipitation coming through. And then you're going to see Thursday, another wave of energy that moves in. So look at this. This must be the newest model. This spells trouble. Southwest flow, persistent southwest flow, shallow Arctic air mass, warm nose at 850, and overrunning precipitation event. Positively tilted trough. Classic. Everything's classic. Multiple pieces of energy. So many disturbances. An active polar jet stream. That's the GFS model. Now, just for grins, let's do this. I'm not saying this is what's going to happen, but I'm going to show you what we're kind of up against in terms of forecasting potential. So let's do this. We know it's not just going to be snow. It's got to be snow and ice. So on the left side, you're going to see a pink number. That's the icing amounts. On the right side, you'll see snow amounts. So obviously nothing happens over the next few days. This is all coming on Monday. So here we go. Watch Monday. Now we start getting some icing Monday night. And now that's showing about 0.2 of an inch, and it's got about 1/4 of an inch, got 0.3 of an inch, almost 0.4 of an inch. So there's some icing in the higher elevations. Elevation is going to be a big key in this too. Well, where's the snow? It's not snowing yet. That's because the temperatures are too warm aloft. We'll show you precip types and why that happens. But here comes this next system. I'm scared to look at this, but then there's the number on the left side. See how that's starting to show? Snow totals, and we got the snow contour on there. Here comes the next system that comes in Thursday into Friday. And remember, this is a long range forecast. I'm not saying this is absolutely going to happen. What I do want to say, though, is that energy is coming in from the west, Arctic air. It's not handling the cold air well on the long range global models. I don't care what the YouTubers say. It's not. And then you'll see here as we move throughout our Saturday, then that system finally moves out. So there you go. Even winter weather sees, even the River Valley sees winter weather potential. So 1/4 inch of ice. Look at how much ice in Jasper. That could be ice storm criteria over a 1/2 inch. That's what the GFS is showing. Now, before we get all worked up on this, let's look at the GFS, the European. And the European, by the way, is, oh, man, what's going on? Maybe we don't have the European ice and snow. Let's see here. Stand by. Yeah, we've got, Okay, well, here's the local. This is just the local anyways. This is the local. So here's the European model. The European model is not nearly as much, and you might know why, because the precipitation is in warmer air. So that's showing a little bit of snow, and then it's got some icing. So it does show that icing, but it's just not as much. And I don't even think this, yeah, I don't know if it has a snow contour. We'll have to work on that. I don't think that's created properly. So I'll work on that and fix that. I did the GFS one today. Regardless, let's see what we've got here. And this is not updated, but let's see. Yeah, there are heavy snow bands across the north, and then you got light snow. So the GFS is more bullish than the European. But the thing is that that's just the deterministic model. I do want to show you real quick the ensembles, and ensembles are really good because it's basically taking a multitude of forecasts and not just going with one. It's going with a multitude and kind of getting the average, if you will. Yeah, it's about to go down next week. I think so. Especially if the temperatures are colder than what it shows. And I know, like, specifics, you're not going to get specifics because one little piece of energy could come in undetected from the Eastern Pacific that the models don't have. They can't sample, they don't have a clue it's coming, and you get more precipitation. So I'm going to remove that, stop the screen, present, share screen. Okay, here we go. This is so these are the ensembles. Notice how by Monday night and a Tuesday, they all show winter weather, most of them. There's a few of them that don't. But typically, Monday night into Wednesday, they all have an idea of at least some type of precipitation. The control doesn't really do anything, but the ensembles do. So there's an example. Control is just one model. That's the deterministic run. The mean is basically the averages of the ensembles, and there's 50 members with the European. Now, we know the GFS deterministic showed a lot more. So let's see what the deterministic is with the GFS. And there you see it showing up a lot more. And then it has snow. Now, this is actually the 18Z. Let's look at the 12Z. 12Z has a lot more too. So it's going to go back and forth because what the models are doing is they're trying to determine the energy that's coming in. They translate that to lift, and then that lift is what forms the precipitation. But the problem is they're probably not handling it perfectly. So I'm going to show you how much energy there is out to the west. It's like the vorticity is just, it's lit up like a Christmas tree. There's a ton of vorticity. So here's a look at the vorticity map. And you tell me if the model is going to predict this perfectly. I'll show you the thunderstorm chances tonight, too. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens, but look at this. You got southwesterly flow, large scale trough, cold air dipping south. Maybe the cold air stays north. That's a possibility. But from experience, being in this area long enough, if the cold air arrives a couple of days before the precip arrives, it can get cold enough to ice at Fayetteville and Washington County and areas farther south. Look at all this energy. My goodness. And it just doesn't stop. And if those temperatures are a lot colder than expected, then all this, including this system, look at this, at the end of the weekend. That's not good either because we're supposed to be flying out. I'm flying out next week to go to my mom's engagement party, and weather sometimes stinks because we're flying out to California. We may be going right through the heart of that. I hope not. That'll be a turbulent flight to fly back out. Yeah, Edward, too early to talk about tornado season. However, you might remember 2008. February 5th to this day, afternoon, evening. Yeah. Look at San Diego. Exactly. A lot of energy coming in. Now come on, this is 240 hours out. That's a long ways out. So a lot could change. We've got another map here too. I want to show you this. This is a cool map that we made, and it's got the wind barbs on there at the surface and at 850 millibars. Now, the problem is you don't have time to really explain this when you're doing weather on TV. You got 3 minutes to tell the whole weather story. They're counting you down, and rightfully so. They got a newscast. They got to enter in a bunch of information. There's that southwesterly flow. It warms up dramatically. But as we get into our Sunday, there's the cold air dropping south. But watch what happens Monday. We get this warm nose of air. Now, the European, I think, is too warm, but it still has that cold front coming in. And so when we're talking about 2009 ice storm potential, Kenzie, that was such a rare event where everything came to fruition. All the mesoscale modeling, all the deformation zones, all the lift, all the convective precipitation. A lot colder too. The 2009 ice storm was a lot colder than this will be. This will be borderline freezing. So there will be times when it's icing on elevated surfaces and the roads are perfectly fine. You can't compare. What you can say, though, is that the weather pattern that brings significant ice storms like 2009 is similar to what we have. Persistent southwest flow, all that stuff. Sarah, we will get to the storm potential. I'm kind of focusing more on the long term, which, is a little odd for me, especially since I don't like doing that. But I really have a feeling that something's brewing here, and we're going to be really busy. So here's the southerly winds. You see those yellow streamlines? That is the 855,000 foot wind. Notice how it's out of the south. Now, at the same time, we're going to fade on the winds at the surface. And you can see those are moving northeast and northerly. So you've got cold air at the surface, warm air aloft. And what that does is that creates precipitation types. It all depends on where that sets up, too. The European seems to be a little far north, but I mean, come on, remember, this is 5-6 days out. There's a lot of stuff that can happen in terms of the positioning of this low. I mean, think about the snow that happened on the beach. A few days before that, it wasn't even showing any snow on the beach because it was slicing it right through northern Louisiana. So a lot of things can change. But you get the idea that southerly flow aloft, northerly flow at the surface is going to create what's called winter precipitation types. So that's how you get, instead of snow, that's how you get your different types. So I'm going to show you something here. I think this is kind of a cool graphic too, because so we got essentially our winter precipitation types that with this cold air coming in from the north, it's like a wedge of cold air. So it's very low to the ground. It's shallow, meaning it doesn't have much height to it. And when it runs into the Ozarks, it kind of slows down and it stalls out. But at the same time, you saw those southerly winds. That's that warm layer of air above freezing. And with the battleground that we have right now between the warm and the cold, that's going to create winter precipitation types. So if we zoom in here, the rain, as you can see, is when it's above freezing everywhere in the winter. That's probably going to be areas farther south in South Arkansas. I would be surprised if the ice made it all the way there. Then you got freezing rain. What happens there is a very narrow, small wedge of cold air that chills objects on elevated surfaces. It allows that liquid to stay liquid all the way until it hits the ground, and then it freezes on contact. That's the stuff that accumulates on power lines. Sleet is still dangerous on roads because it can make it pretty slick. But sleet is where you have a raindrop that freezes because it's able to freeze in the time that it falls in that colder air. And then finally, you get snow. Sometimes you get really wet snowflakes when you have a little layer of warm air that melts the snow partially. And then you get the clumps of snow that basically dissolve when they hit the ground. So there's your different winter precipitation types. And I've got another graphic here for you. This kind of shows it in a 3D column. So if it's rain, it's going to melt that snow all the way. If it's snow or freezing rain, that rain freezes on contact. It remains liquid all the way until it hits the surface. Then it freezes. Sleet is where the layer of warm air is a little bit less deep. So it's not as deep. It's a little more shallow. So Raindrop falls, snowflake falls, melts, turns into rain. And by the time it hits the ground, it's already a frozen raindrop. And then finally, what I think parts of southwest Missouri, and remember, as that system moves through, the colder air could drop south. So all of this could change. All of this can dramatically be altered. Here's another look at that wedge of cold air and the warm air aloft. That's what the key is. January 9th and 10th, we didn't have the warm air aloft. It was super cold. The snow that happened along the surface, along the Gulf, that was really cold, and it was all snow because that was a very, very cold system. So the other models don't go out far enough. You got the Canadian, but it doesn't really show much. But hey, for Sarah that was asking about tomorrow, let's go through that real quick because I didn't really touch base on the forecast for that. So let's see. Where is that? Shit, here it is. So first of all, heads up, even though the fog's not developing quite as much, you got a dense fog advisory. We'll look at visibility here in just a bit, but that goes until 9 a.m. It says 8 a.m., but I actually updated it on some other graphics. Winds are a little breezy now. Not much, but 5 miles an hour. But look at how the wind is dead calm in northeast Oklahoma. And what that's doing is that's creating the fog. You have half-mile visibility. It's pretty foggy, and it's also foggy east of Russellville. So if we look at the fog forecast, this is what we've got. A little bit of fog developing overnight tonight. That's going to remain patchy, dense at times, and then it's gone by Thursday, late morning into the afternoon. Okay, so here's what we've got going on tomorrow. Overnight tonight, already some rain and drizzle is happening. If you're in Siloam Springs, you're going to be getting a heavier drizzle because it's starting to move in on the radar. Tomorrow morning, called for rain between 7 a.m. to noon because of this system moving in. And there you see the front. And then Thursday night, the cold front moves in. See the temperatures? Look at this, 43 in Anderson and 71 in Waldron. I mean, come on. How do you represent that on a 7-day? You can't with one number. Then, as we move into Thursday night, the temperature is going to warm again because that warm front returns. And then watch what happens Friday afternoon. We're going 56, 57. Oh, did you see that? We drop back down. That actually doesn't make sense why we would drop down so fast right there. That is not right. Yeah, that's false. Let's show you a different view here. That seems weird. Okay, 43, 45, 46. Watch Friday. Warming, 48, 49, 50, 55, 57, 59. Look at this, 60, 61. That's showing way too much rain, in my opinion. It's kind of just like everywhere. But I think there will be some early afternoon showers potentially. And then Saturday, here comes that front. Right before the front, this is way underdone too. I think we hit 70 plus. Unless it's cloudy and raining, then it won't. But look at the northwesterly winds and watch this front drop the temperatures, 51, 49, 46. And you can see that just continuing to fall. And then that's as far out as the model goes. So to sum that up in terms of the 2-day forecast timeline, good luck. This is what it looks like right here. See, there's that 56 to 46 drop. That I don't think happens because the front comes in tomorrow. And that's just the model going that way. And I don't believe it. So temperatures have been tricky over the last couple of days. Precip-wise, you can pretty much expect rain on and off. Best chances will be tomorrow morning and then again Friday morning. And Brandon says, how about them Hogs? Yeah, the Hogs won against Texas. They're on a roll. Loving it. 3-game winning streak, right? They beat Kentucky. They beat well, they lost to OU, so maybe they have a 2-game winning streak. But anyways, anybody doing the polar plunge, let me know. Here's your forecast for the polar plunge. While the temperatures are looking nice, 64, 67, and 69 degrees by noon, that's awesome. But look at what the water temperature is. 36. So it's pretty cold water at the Prairie Creek swim area. Lake level's pretty good. Just a little below full pool. And polar plunge at 11, chilly and wet with the wind. Wind's going to be a little breezy on Saturday. Just a crazy roller coaster ride. You got it. I think that does it. I think that's it. I'll show you this real quick. Just a little taste of something. Go back here. This is the topping of the tower at XNA. I'll bring this up real fast. So here's the topping of the tower at XNA. This is kind of cool. We'll get them hogs off of there, but hey, how about them? That was a really nice victory today again. They're on a roll. Watch this. Little snapshots each day of this tower. Watch how fast it goes up. Right about now, see the concrete pillars. There's the tower cab that doesn't get lifted in this time lapse. And then watch the snow too. You'll see the snow from January right there where it covered the ground and then it melted pretty quick. So it didn't last very long, at least in the time lapse. So that's kind of cool. Get ready for anything. You know, another thing too is you look on ensembles for like winter weather, and a lot of it is snow related. So when it's snow related, you're not going to see the ensemble showing anything. Do you think snow could take out school? I think there's going to be some issues with school next week. Might be midweek when these winter systems really get going, but we're still a ways out. I would do your homework over the weekend, but we'll see what happens. All right, guys, I'm running out of steam. I get to talk to my son's class with teen leadership experience, and that is going to be at the Fayetteville Public Library. I see the camera glitching. Yeah, no, I'm not staying up for the new Zero Z European. That's coming out pretty soon. But honestly, I think it's still going to be too warm. It's just not going to have a handle on this cold air. We can look at it. You want to look at it getting bottled up? Let's check it out. So here we go. I do want to see this. So 6 in Billings, 9 in Bismarck. And let's kind of zip up to the north and see what we got. Yeah, that's pretty cold. Below zero. And then you got below zero. Not quite as cold as that last, cold snap, but still, that's some serious cold air being bottled up, and it's only going to take just a little bit for that to drop south. Anytime you got that warm nose, as warm as it's been, it's going to be 70 degrees Saturday. Cold front comes in. We were record warm on Monday. We'll possibly be record warm on Saturday if it doesn't cloud and rain. It's not good this time of the year. Got a little bit of time here. I wanted to do something real fast because it is the anniversary of the February 5th, 2008 tornado. I got to show you that tornado because it was an absolute beast. That storm did not look super impressive on the radar until you looked at the velocity, and then you were like, whoa. And I do believe I have the February 5th. If I don't, then I teased something right now. Of course I do. Super Tuesday outbreak. We're going to go to the right time. Now, this data is going to load pretty quick because this is back in the day when the radar data wasn't very frequently updating. So remember, this is archived radar. Yeah, how fast that updates. That's right before the tornado, too. Yeah, that's good. This, by the way, is the longest track tornado in Arkansas's history. Still going here. Update it. 21 to 20. Do this. Definitely got to change the color scale too. We're still not there. Yeah, there it is. Okay. Just a wicked storm, man. That's still not it. That's another tornado warning. You got to go a little bit later. You'll see it in a second. I'm just getting it set up. If you don't want to watch this, you don't have to. You can bounce out. But what a storm. All right, so we're going to go to a different color table setting because I don't like this one. There we go. All right, now here's what's interesting about this cell. Mega Doppler. So this is the February 5th, 2008 longest track tornado ever in Arkansas's history. You've got this cell that's tornado warned going into Newton County that has a pretty impressive circulation. We look at the velocity, you can see the velocity, pretty impressive. Even put down a tornado. Remember, this is before correlation coefficient. This is before high resolution radar data. But this right here is the start. Look at this cell. That doesn't look super impressive as a supercell, but it does get impressive. And another thing, too, is this storm just slightly right turns. And when it right turns, that creates basically a perfect critical angle. So we're going to show you this. Here is a awesome feature that you can have where you follow it. So if you have GR2 Analyst, there's a cell, and I'm going to move it over a little bit more so you can see it. Look at that circulation. So this thing, as soon as it right turned, as it went by Ola, it cranked up. But you look at the reflectivity, and it just doesn't look super impressive in terms of a storm. But you look at the velocity, and we're talking a different game. Look at the rotation, normalized rotation right there. We'll move along here in time. There it is coming through Adkins. At this point, it's about to cross I-40. Pretty nasty storm. Then you're going to see as it moves northeast, goes through Cleveland. This is when it wipes out Cleveland right here. Look at that couplet. My goodness, look at that couplet. And this, again, you go back to just the reflectivity. You see this. Yeah, it's a tornado warning. Yeah, it's got a little bit of a hook. But come on, it looks like nothing like this. Then, tornado confirmed. Look at the hook here. Pretty impressive hook. Goes into Clinton at this point, and it doesn't stop. It's just tearing stuff up. So we'll load more of the data here. Look at how fast it loads, too, when it's not high resolution. Each one of these files is only about 2,000. And so there it is continuing into Mountain View. And really, I don't even have the full length of it. It runs out of time. But look at the amount of tornado warnings. What a system. My goodness, look at that. Super Tuesday, and then look, you've got a tornado emergency at NQA, which is Memphis. So, yeah, that was a pretty big event. Northwest Arkansas really didn't see much. I remember we were just on the backside of the system. No, I hear you. We're just doing a repeat of we're just looking at that. February 5th, 2008, Super Tuesday. February 5th, 2008, Super Tuesday. It was on a Tuesday afternoon that all that stuff happened. No. That's old. It's all archive. Archive radar data. Yep, I do remember those tornadoes. In fact, I remember those tornadoes because we were having a Christmas party at our house, and everybody was coming over, and I left. And the lightning was incredible. So there was a couple big hailstorms. I remember one was in April, and I want to say it was 2008, but I'm not exactly positive. Yes, I do, Edward. I've got a lot of archive radar data, like literally like 60 gig of archive radar data. April 24th, 2000. Yeah. You want to see that one? The Mayflower Bologna tornado? We could definitely look at that. Well, yeah, I got it right here. And these files are a little bit bigger, but they're still not as big as they are today. Archive radar data. Don't freak out. This is just looking back in the past. This is how you learn. And this is how you're able to detect storms and tornadoes and stuff. See how it's loading? It's taking a little longer to load. Yeah, the forecast is just going to be a bear, to say the least. Let's set the storm motion for morning. So there's the circulation. Doesn't even have a warning on it at that point, but it becomes warned, I think, the next image. Wow, I picked that perfectly. And then there is the circulation ramping up. Pretty impressive hook. Look at that hook. Wow. That reminds me a lot of the May 24th and the 25th, 2011 hook, the one that went through Denning and Etna. It almost looks exactly the same way. But look at that circulation. Got some range folding that's occurring, some bad radar data. De-aliasing is becoming an issue there. But look at the debris signature. Massive debris signature. Look at the normalized rotation, and yeah, you can definitely see it. Some stuff going on there. Moving along in time, more of the debris signature at this point. This did cross I-40. Yes, it crossed I-40 by Mayflower. That's correct. I know. Super, super sad. And at the same time, there was someone that died in a tornado shelter, but they had a non-FEMA rated bolts and latches. Yeah, look at that. Going through Bologna, you know that's trouble. And there's the tornado emergency that was issued. There's another tornado emergency. So just a wicked, wicked storm. So let's do that follow feature again. And then you can really see it. There you go. Let's get the storm motion exact too, so we can follow it perfectly. It's cool too how you can see it's changing. So, all right, guys. Well, that sums it up. Do you have a sample radar of different levels of tornadoes? Yep, I do, but it's getting late, and I'm gonna have to go. I know. Doesn't make sense at all. I'm not surprised. Euro's typically terrible with cold air. Arctic air really struggles. That's right, Miana. That's right. I was thinking it was an anticyclonic. I still do to this day, but it never got confirmed. It was tricky. It was tough. And, the Weather Service had a lot to survey. So, all right, Kathy B. Okay, good seeing you. Haven't seen you in a while on here. But I just wanted to say, yeah, I hope everybody has a great rest of your night. We will see you tomorrow, and we'll give you another update. I think here's the main takeaways. Tomorrow, not too bad. Warms up. Then we have a cold front coming in tomorrow evening. That drops the temperatures for Friday, only to rebound Saturday dramatically. Oh yeah, I did want to show that real quick. And then I don't know, that severe weather might not materialize, at least as of now. As of now, it looks like it's capped. There is some possibility of an isolated storm popping up, though. I think this is interesting because I kind of thought that would be the case. Let's see if it's still there. Nope, not there anymore. Let's look at the HRRR. It did have a small little storm. Let's see if it's still in there. Right. Nope, not in there either. So it changed. It's gone. See if this one does. Now, see, this one did. See, there's that small little storm in southwest Missouri about 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, right along the boundary. And remember, there is some energy moving in. Let's go back to the water vapor here real quick. And then I've got to shut it down. I am tired. See, here's the energy that's coming into Memphis, or not Memphis, but Tennessee. I don't think there's going to be, it just doesn't seem like it's doing much. There's the day one tornado. They dropped it from 5% to 2%. There's the marginal risk. Wind. Day two is going to be gone. Yeah. Day two is history. Still have that boundary sticking around. Day three, non existent. Weather Prediction Center, day three, nothing. Yeah. So everything's pretty much gone. All right. Well, that's it from your Weather Authority team. That was a weather update. You guys, God bless. I'll see you tomorrow. And I was doing the takeaways and then I got distracted. But here's real quick takeaways. Cold front coming in Saturday night. It will probably be colder than what models show. You know, there's a lot of energy coming in. They're not going to depict all the precipitation perfectly. Multiple chances of winter weather. That cold air could stay entrenched in our area. That could lead to additional prolonged winter weather potential. I really hope this isn't setting up for an ice storm, but it does appear that the potential is there in some way, in some area that we'll have to watch. That's it. Bye, guys. Take care. God bless.